Good afternoon. I hope you guys are doing well. Um, I know you guys had Aubrey continued with the math questions. We stopped last time. We did first 20. She did the next 20. I heard. Good that you guys have been asking questions as well. So we are going to do science today. So let me explain what has happened so far on science. First day when I did the science, we talked about the strategies for selecting the passages. Remember that? We really honed in on that one. Then I believe Lily did, you know, more passages and stuff like that. So one of the things I want to talk today with you guys before we get started with the passages is how do you answer questions. First thing we did was to select the passages. Now we're going to talk about how to answer the questions itself. So listen to these things very carefully. First, the first question of each passage is the easiest, usually, of course. That means you don't want to make a mistake in that because those will have the negative fudge factor. That means you're going to lose a little bit more if you make a mistake. All right, first one. Exactly opposite. The last question, the last question of each passage historically has been difficult. So if it's taking too much time, skip that question. Any question you think it's taking too much time, because every question carries the same point value, you do not want to get stuck and waste your time. Online students, are you able to hear me? Just want to make sure. Okay, good, thanks. So those are the first and the last question. Next, when they say according to figure 1, the answer is in figure 1. Sounds good? Nowhere else. Don't look for anywhere else. You don't have time. You have 40 questions, 35 minutes, so you have 52.5 seconds per question. So if you start looking around everywhere else, or if you get distracted, the test will get done so fast you'll be amazed. Lapse of concentration is your biggest enemy. Okay? Next, when you're reading graphs, be careful with the y and the x-axis and their labels. Okay? So know the labels of the x-axis and the y-axis. Next, this is important. You'll come across a lot of questions in ACT which has 4 options: S, S, no, no, with a statement for each one of them. Those are the questions people tend to make mistakes. Why? Because when they're answering, they tend to read the whole thing for each option. What you have to do is to select whether it's a yes or no without looking at the reason. So if you decide it's a no as the answer, then if you're left with 2 no's, then read the statement in front of it. Okay? Let me repeat what I just said. For a yes no type of questions, decide yes or no first without looking at the reason. Got it? Next. Each passage has 6 or 7 questions, total of 6 passages. Usually there will be 3 that will be easy to medium. 1 will be difficult out of the 6. So you want to keep yourself enough time for that one. The last passage is your conflicting viewpoints or the reading like passage. You want to be at least be left with 6 minutes for that. So a simple rule of thumb is by the end of 5 passages, you should be around 29 minutes done. So the last passage you're left with 6 minutes. Am I making myself clear? That shows that you're able to track your time. If you're done a little early, that's great. Great. At the same time, you don't want to rush so much that you have made silly mistakes. It's a fine balance that can only be controlled by practice. Okay? A full practice, not just individual science test. Make sense? So, today what we're going to do is we're going to take all these things. And another question the other group asked me today was, should we read questions directly or should we read the passage? 6 in 10 students at New Horizon, they read the questions directly. And you'll be amazed, that's why they give you a hint. Oh, in experiment 1, they already have told you where the information is because they know 35 minutes is very less. One thing I did tell them is, if you decide to read the passage and then go to the question, practice that way, stick to that way. Okay? I don't want you to change that day. You with me on this? If you start reading the passage, you just won't have time, according to me. But if you're comfortable that way, I don't have any qualms about it. So I repeat, whatever you practice, stick to it. And that's all you practice. Don't make a cocktail out of it. One day this, one day that. Clear? Okay. Any questions to me before we get started? Any thoughts? The biggest thing I tell you about science, even for reading for that matter, your lapse of concentration. Thinking something else, something that's stuck in your mind. That's where the slippery slope happens. Open page number. And by the way, you guys know the selection of the passage, right? How to do and everything. Okay. Page number 461. Don't start anything or anything like that, okay? So we're gonna start replicating the real test situation here, but passage by passage. There are 7 in this book. In the real test will be 6, okay? Here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna give you guys 45 seconds to scan all passages, and you'll have to select only 2. You know that, right? You know the drill? Yes, no? Online students, do the thumbs up if you're comfortable with that idea. Okay, good. Your time starts now, 45 seconds. I only want 2. Time's up. If you're online, I would like you to tell me the first 2 you've selected, online students.
I selected 3 and 7.
3 and 7. This is interesting. Okay. A lot of tables, huh? How many have 3 and 7? Nobody. Let's go with the face-to-face students. What have you selected?
3 and 6.
3 and 6. How many have 3 and 6? 1, 2. Okay. Any other combinations?
3 then 1.
3 and 1. How many have 3 and 1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3, sorry. 3. I have a question, Aiden. Why 3, 1? Why not 1, 3? Explain to me.
Because personally me, I prefer a little less reading and just one big graph or a table, then like a little bit of reading and then like 6 or 4 graphs.
Okay, so let me ask you a simple question. Look at passage 3 reading and passage one reading, are they almost same?
Yes, they're pretty much the same.
Okay, so reading is same. You have graphs versus table. What's usually preferred, strategy?
Graphs, but there is one table compared to four graphs.
But one huge table. Remember, size matters, remember.
Right, right.
I had selected 1 and 3. Yeah, you may say 3 and 1 are same. No, they're not. You want your best first passage to begin with. You with me on this? And I'm trying to convince you guys. I'm just not saying this is what you want to do. Are you okay with this logic, right? I would have done 3 and 1 if 1 had a little bit more reading. Passage 3 has a huge table. It's going to take you time to find the information. Okay? So, but what I want to do today, I want to stick to your thing because there is a consensus on 3-1. So we're going to go with 3-1. Okay? Fair enough? Okay. So right down the top, 3-1. Even though I would have done 1-3, but I want to now pivot to how you guys work. Okay? 3-1. We are going to do it together. You're going to select the next two and you'll have 25 seconds. Go. Time's up. Let's start with the face-to-face students. What have you selected?
5-4.
How many have 5-4? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Any other combinations? Online, any other combinations? You guys have to step up. Otherwise, we're wasting time. Because I want to understand how you think. Yes. 7-5. What did you say? 8 and 5 and
5 and 4. But 5 first.
5, 4. I would do 7-5. How many have 7-5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. The only reason Aiden 4 has 2 huge tables.
Yeah, I was kind of drawn between 4 and 6 because they were kind of similar. Just 6 had more reading.
Look at 7, table 1 and table 3, for example. Man, hardly anything to get to the information. Size matters, okay? So we did decide 3-1. We'll go with 7-5. There's a consensus. So again, I want to go with you guys here, okay? 3-1, 7-5. You'll have 20 seconds to decide the remaining 3. Go. Remaining 3. Time's up. Tell me. Let's pick yours.
6 and 4.
Remember, there are 3 now.
Yeah, 6 and 4.
One more time.
6, 4,
6, 4. I would go with 6-4-2. How many have 6-4-2? Okay, log consensus. So write down 6-4-2. So 3-1, 7-5, 6-4-2. You all good? So even though and of course we took some time, so I'm gonna say we took 1 minute on an average, okay? So what we're gonna do today from today onwards is when we do a test or a passage like this, I'll tell you how much maximum time I'm gonna give you. Let's say I give you 4 minutes. Let's say you finish it in 3 minutes. I want you to write down the time for each passage. Sounds good? So I want to track each passage time for you guys. Go to passage 3. So there is 5 questions, okay, for passage 3. Am I right?
Yes.
You have 3 minutes for passage 3. If you're done early, write down the time. Your time starts now. Time's up. I'm going to ask the same question every time. Does anybody need more time? Need you to just to be honest with me. Okay, how many questions? Okay, so I'm gonna just I'm gonna start again, so I want you to get an idea of the time, okay? I'm gonna add a maximum 1 more minute, so I wanna control the time. Okay? Go. Time's up. Okay. So time is such important, that's why I'm pushing it, okay? Right? So you get used to this. So I'm gonna read the answer from 13 to 17. All right. AHD HD. I repeat, AHD HD. And of course, I hope you're writing down the time as well. How many got all correct? 1, 2, 3. All right. One wrong. 1, 2, 3. Kept. Any questions? If you want to take a look at yourself, I have no problems with that as well. One more time. Any questions? All right, we move to passage 1. Don't want to waste time. And we have, again, 5 questions. Now remember, in the real test, you have 6 or 7. You'll have 3.5 minutes for passage 1. Your time starts now. Time's up. Does anybody need extra time? Last chance. Okay. Here are the answers for question number 1 through 5. CHA, GA. I repeat, CHA, GA. Did anybody get it all correct? One wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. So comparing passage 3 to passage 1, obviously passage 3 had that giant table and this one has smaller graphs. Which one would you like recommend when we're choosing? Which one would be better?
Graphs are always better because when you're
Okay.
selecting, we do not know the content of the passage. So we're going by that what we see, physically see it. But yeah, I always prefer graphs.
Okay.
Last call. Go to passage 7. Again, it's your chance to ask questions. There is not much I can do if you don't ask, okay? Passage 7 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 questions. You'll have 4.5 minutes. Your time starts now. Time's up. How many need, anybody need extra time? All right, let's go. 35 to 40. DHA, GBJ. I repeat, DHA, GBJ. Did anybody get it all correct? 1, 2, 3. Okay, one wrong. 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, questions?
I have a question on 35.
All right, 35. Okay, remember that's the first question, right? Want to be very, very, very careful because that's the one that's gonna hurt you the most. Okay, any other questions? Last chance. All right, so we did 3, 1, 7. What is the next one? 5, I believe.
7 or 5, yeah.
So go to passage 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 4 minutes. Your time starts now. 4 minutes. Time's up. Anybody needs more time? Last call. All right, let's go to question number 35. Who asked that question?
Oh, I did.
Okay, Sophie, so let's discuss this. Let me guess what you might have written as your answer. Did you guess did you guess B?
Yeah.
Okay, that's something is n- is actually is a cannot be said as a wrong answer. Okay, so look at what is happening here. According to table 1, you can see as the pH level increases, the growth decreases, right? So you tend to see that if it is 4, it may be 95, right? But one thing you have to understand with pH is not a linear thing. So the graph may look more like this actually in this case. You guys with me on this? So at 5, it's at 90%, doesn't mean 4 will be higher. It actually can go down. But that information was not given. Okay? So pH is a tricky one. And I know why you wrote B. And I can't say you're not totally wrong. I won't say that. But as you may not know how pH works, you may have gone with B, right, Sophie?
Yeah.
Okay. How many had B? Yeah. So, and your reason was you just saw that 5 was 90%. That's why you guys went with that one? Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Yeah, I saw both. I was like, So we have 24 to 28. FDG. DG. I repeat. FDG. DG. How many got all correct?
1 second, I lost the passage.
It's on 471.
Sorry, could you repeat those answers?
FDG. DG. One wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Any questions?
25.
Okay. So we did 3, 1, 7, 5. What's the next one? 6, right? Right? You have to help me confirm. Is it 6?
Yes.
Okay. So, 6 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll be giving you guys 5 minutes. Your time starts now. Passage 6, 5 minutes. Time's up. Do you need any time? Last call. All right, let's go to question number 25, please. Who asked the question 25?
Oh, that was me.
Okay, Jack. So, which of the following, if true, best explains why the pesticides were applied to the soil as opposed to being placed directly on the rose bushes? This is not in the passage, but ACT expect you to do some what's called a deductive or inductive reasoning, some sort of logic to apply. So let me read out the options for you. Pesticides are never applied to the plants when treating with aphids or other pests. We don't know. The word never throws out that indication that we don't know, because we don't have to know that. That's something that's too specific. Aphids are not affected when a pesticide is applied directly to the soil. Well, then why? That's an unnecessary question here, point here. The experiments were testing how water levels affect growth patterns. That's nothing to do with the pesticides. The last one, rose bushes generally die, the word generally gives you a hint, die when pesticides are directly applied to them. So we are making a logical reasoning here that if you spray directly to a rose bush, the roses may die. Seems logical to me, that's why they're going through the soil.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it can be a deductive reasoning or an inductive reasoning. Usually, very rarely you see this question. Maybe one per ACT you'll get it, but it's basically use common sense. Don't worry about science at the time. So if I'm spraying a pesticide, and if I spray it and if I think the rose bushes die, would I do that? So I'm gonna go through other means.
Right, okay, thank you.
29 to 34. 29 to 34. DFC. FAH. I repeat. DFC. FAH. Did anybody get all correct? 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see this passage was when we were selecting, right? We did not make it in the top 3 or 4, but that's what it is, right? Sometimes this happens. One wrong. Any questions?
30.
Okay. 30. Okay. Oops. Shoot. 30. You said 30, right? Okay. What I would like you to do now is, let's count how many questions we have done. So we have done passage 1 has 5. Passage 3 has 5, 10. Passage 5 has 5, 15. Passage 6 has 6, 21. Passage 7 has 6, 27, right? Count how many correct you have out of 27, please, and write it down somewhere in that test. Out of 27, how many you got? Is it 27, 26, 25, so forth? Did you guys do that? Okay, so let me see if anybody got all 27 correct. I don't think so, but let's see. 26. 25. 24. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We'll continue with this next time. Have a good day. Keep working. ACT is next month. Bye-bye. Good night, guys.